Hello Fanny Queens, welcome back to the channel. Have you ever wondered what it's like to go for an OBGYN appointment and a pap smear / cervical screening in the US versus the UK? Well, if you have, you are in the right place, baby, yeah, because I'm going to take you to mine and I'm going to compare it to the UK. How cute are these PJs, by the way? I got them specifically for this video because they're American and they've got little yellow taxis and the Statue of Liberty. So cute. If I'm completely honest, I have been putting this off for a very long time. Things like this now hold so much trauma for me. I don't know why I'm laughing. If you don't laugh, you'll cry. Ever since my endometriosis surgery, I've just found appointments like this to be quite challenging. I put it off and I put it off and I thought, you know what? If I want to be an advocate, if I want to start my YouTube channel, I have to lead by example. So I booked myself in. I'm so proud. Nobody likes getting their foo-foo out on the table, do they really? Do you know what I mean? It's not really a pleasant experience. I can think of much better things that I would rather do with my day, but it's got to be done. You got to do what you got to do. So if you're like me and you've been putting yours off for a very, very long time, this is your sign from the universe to get booked in. This appointment was not cheap at all. I've been living in America for a while now and I still do not understand the insurances, the out of network, then you have co-pay. Some people have insurance that only cover emergencies, not medical appointments. This would not be covered because it's classed as a routine appointment or preventative care. But it is free of charge in England, which I will always be so thankful for. I did struggle booking in England because the wait times were quite long. Sometimes the wait times were like 3 months, which is fine. But for someone who has a regular period, it was the most frustrating thing because I never knew when I get my period. I was constantly having to cancel and rebook in, and then I'd rebook in the next one, and then I get my period again and I'd have to cancel and rebook again, and it would take me 3 or 4 attempts to get in for a pap smear in the UK. So this was just a bit more beneficial because it was a 2-week wait, but I'm not into the price tag. In the UK, when I've been for a pap smear, I go to my GP office and a nurse there will do it. It's not at a gynecologist office, whereas this one that I'm going to in America is at a gynecologist office. So that's a little different. I quite like it, but we'll see what happens. I'm self-paying for this appointment, so let's run through the cost just because I'm always open and transparent with you. This is the cost before I go. I have no clue what it's going to be, if they're going to add anything else on extra, which hopefully they don't do that, but who even knows. The appointment itself was $220. I'm not fully sure what that appointment gets me. I will let you know. I then had to pay extra for the pap smear, so that was an add-on, $150. That gets me a pap smear, and also it includes chlamydia and gonorrhea screening automatically, which they don't do that in the UK at the same time. If you want chlamydia and gonorrhea screening, you have to go elsewhere or make a separate appointment to your doctor. Do I have the money to be dropping on this appointment? Absolutely not, no. I could go on a shopping spree for that. I could take you all out for a mocktail. We could have had a great day out, but I'm thinking of the fact that I have always been interested in healthcare in other countries to the one that I grew up in. I'm seeing this as a bit of market research. I'm taking one for the team. That's how I'm justifying it. Some people like buying handbags. Some people like buying pap smears in different countries. So let's see what $370 gets me, shall we? I get there. The nurse sees me first. She does my vitals, my weight, my blood pressure, all of that. She asks me if I've got any medical conditions and if I've got any concerns before I speak to the gynecologist. Why is it, right, when we tell someone we have endometriosis, do we get some follow-up questions? Never anything else. It's always these 3 things. Are you depressed? Aren't we all, Brenda? Have you seen the state of the world? Do you have anxiety? She didn't ask me that before I mentioned endometriosis. Endometriosis was the end of the conversation, so this was not asked. Secondly, do you want birth birth control? Are you on birth control? Are you going to take birth control? Always after I mention endometriosis, and it's so frustrating. Then I was told to remove all my clothes, and I got given a top gown with the slit at the front, and I was just so confused. I thought, why am I removing my top half? Why am I taking all my clothes off and getting full-blown naked? Did I book something dodgy? Is this a scam? The next minute she comes in, she was so lovely, and suddenly she's up my top hem. I was like, whoa, you didn't even buy me dinner first. Turns out we get a breast exam, a breast and armpit exam. Who knew? It's a good job I shaved my armpits. I had absolutely no idea this would happen. You don't get that at your pap smear appointment in England. I've never even had that at a gynecologist appointment. I've never even had that with my GP. I was blown away. Then out came the stirrups, and then came the pap smear. Let me tell you, it was a lot more invasive than England. I don't know if any of my other English babes experience this, but basically in England you go on a bed, you put your feet together and you open your knees wide, and it's so quick. I don't even think they barely look. 2 seconds and it's over. No, not here. We got the stirrups, doing like the YMCA with my legs. But I was only stuck on Y. Wow, no warning. Big torch swung from the wall, and it lasted quite a while. Then came the pelvic exam. Had no idea I was getting a pelvic exam at the same time. They don't do this in England either. I don't know if this is because I booked an appointment then a pap smear, or this is at your actual pap smear in America. Yeah, never got warned about that. She also gave me a full check of my vulva and my labia. She felt around my sugar puff and gave it a check. You don't get that in England either. No, I've never had my sugar puff checked in England during a pap smear. I also had to sign some consent forms about a rectal exam. Luckily, I didn't get a rectal exam, so I guess that's what I've got to look forward to next time. Yeah, baby, lucky me. She was actually really lovely, really genuinely nice gynecologist. I would go see her again. I did like the fact that I'd never felt rushed. I did like the fact that it was at a gynecologist's office with an OBGYN, because I felt I got the chance to ask her some questions whilst I was there. Whereas in England, it's like a nurse that's doing it, so you don't really ask questions. I wasn't really able to in mine. It was like, oh, I don't know, booking with your GP. So that aspect I did really like. But obviously it's two very different experiences. We're very lucky to have free healthcare on the NHS. I just thought this was a lot more thorough, but you obviously pay for it. So then she said, we usually do like a full blood panel. You need to check for STIs and all that fun stuff. I'm just like, okay, how much is this? That was $165. But that turned out to be cheaper, because if I wanted a full blood panel like that done elsewhere, I was looking at $280. So that was practically on sale, girl maths. And then she also wanted to do an ultrasound. And I was just like, right, how much is that? Do I just have this never ending flow of money? No. But then I got thinking, well, now I'm concerned. I was quoted $250 for that. So I did come away and think about that, but then I ended up going back. Okay, let's just do it, because I've been experiencing some symptoms. I haven't had an ultrasound done since 2020, I think, 2019, 2020. So like 5-6 years ago. And I'm like, okay, let's go. Let's just do it all. Just take all my money at this point. I always take myself for a little sweet treat after the medical appointment, because we've just been through it, you know. I found the cutest little chocolate cafe. I'm going to show you exactly what it was like. But you could make your own chocolate bars with chocolate imported from Switzerland. They had a whole different variety of things to add into this chocolate bar. I didn't make one. I got melted chocolate and strawberries, like my favourite dessert ever. I'm not even joking. The chocolate was that good. I nearly shotted it through my eyeballs. Also, she said to me, I can make you a calming drink. I mean, I must have looked like I needed calming down, and she wouldn't have been wrong from that appointment. As soon as she said pinky purple, I was like, sign me right up. She put in this crack. I swear now she's drunk me. couldn't even drive home. I was so relaxed. I need to go back for more. I think we should all go. What a fabulous time. My blood test results came back less than 24 hours later. They came back the next morning, which is insane. All negative, by the way, before someone starts spreading around that I have chlamydia or syphilis. My pap smear results came back within 5 days, which was pretty good. And what amazed me actually was, so I got the lab report and it was so in depth and gave me the name of who tested it, where it was tested. It also told me what strains of HPV they tested for, and there was 14 strains of HPV. I was absolutely blown away by the lab results, the fact that it came like that and told me everything I needed to know, especially when this is what I'm used to receiving from the UK when I get my results from my pap smear. I'm not trashing the NHS, by the way. I just thought this was amazing to read because it was so interesting, rather than I don't know what strains of HPV they tested me for in England. Also have a portal so you can log onto your account and you can message your gynecologist directly. How crazy is that? Imagine if we had that in England. That would be so good. I've never heard of anything like that. So what I find is, like, here, if I want to go back, I can go back to her. What I found in England is you get referred to the department and then you see one person and then you may not necessarily see them again. So that was my experience of an American OBGYN pap smear. I hope you enjoyed this ride. I'm gonna go pick up my results now from my ultrasound. I will see you in the next video. Thank you so much for watching. Stay fabulous and always fight for your Fanny. Love you. We should put some tunes on. The wheels on the bus.